I'm with DIY Detail, and today I have
Owen Johnson.
Owen is here to learn how to polish. Now, if you look at Owen's car, you could use polishing obviously, but we're not going to polish the whole car. There's areas of rust, there's areas where there's no body left, and there's areas of clear coat failure. But we're going to be showing him the basics of polishing on his hood. That's the best paint he's got on the car, so we'll make it look a little better. Owen, have you ever polished before?
I've never polished.
Excellent. That way, no bad habits. So, what we're going to do is give you a basic understanding of what polishing is and what the tools are and the pads are. So, polishing is the act of taking a machine, and you can do it by hand. Some people take a towel, put the polish on the towel, and start going to town. You're going to get a really good shoulder and arm workout if you do that. It's going to be a long process, so we have machines to help us with that. The machines, we have two types of machines. The older type, so when I was your age, this is all that was around. These are rotaries. Goes around in a circle. That's all it does. Nothing more. The newer style machines are called dual action. And the dual action means not only does it turn, but it also oscillates at the same time. So it's doing two actions at once. So it's a little more aggressive machine. Now, you'll hear other people say that the rotary is more aggressive. If you're using the same pad on the machines, the DA is more aggressive. Of course, if you go to a really aggressive pad on the rotary, it's going to be aggressive. But using same pad, same compound, everything, the DA is more aggressive because of its action. So the dual action.
With a car with more faded paint like mine, do you want it to be more aggressive or less aggressive?
We want to keep as much paint on your vehicle as we can possibly keep, because if we remove too much of it, that clear coat failure that's starting is just going to accelerate. So we want to keep it as long as possible. We don't want to be removing a lot of clear coat. What we're wanting to do with yours is just add a bit of gloss to it. So we're only going to be using our finest pad on your paint, but I'm still going to describe to you what the other pads are. So if you get a vehicle in that has a better paint, you can do that. We have three pads when it comes in terms of aggression. So this is our red jeweling pad. And if you feel it, it's super soft, cushy, and it's very thick. So this will follow the contours. We could do that fender and it'll follow the contours of the fender very easily. And this is the finishing pad. So this is the one you want to get the most gloss out of your paint. It'll work both on the rotary and the dual action. The one thing that this doesn't do though is remove a lot of paint, which is what we're wanting to do with your vehicle. Yeah. So this is the pad you'll be using. The next pad up is our waffle pad, our gold waffle pad. And the gold waffle pad, if you feel it, it's a little stiffer.
A little bit.
Yeah. And the waffle surface is to keep the surface of the vehicle cool, so we're moving air at the same time. Because a lot of pads are just flat foam. And flat foam is not the best thing as far as I'm concerned. The waffle also allows it to contour a little better following the shapes of the vehicle. Finally, we have our wool pad. Now, the wool is our most aggressive pad, and if you feel it, it's quite harder. And this aggression means we're removing the clear coat off the vehicle. Not all at once, but we're removing a little bit of clear coat every pass that we do. So we don't want to go heavy with it. And in your case, we don't want to use this pad because we want to leave as much clear coat as we can on that hood. The other part of our system is obviously the polish. We need something to put on these pads. With a gold standard polish, we spray it on the pad. So as the pad is rotating, we spray the polish on, and that's how much polish we have. Now, a lot of companies will tell you to put 3 or 4 pea-sized drops. Well, if I don't spray it quickly, just spray it slowly, that's a pea-sized drop. And they'll put 4 of those on the pad. We actually only put 1 spray. That's all we need to do. So we're using a lot less polish.
You said that was gold standard? Are there different standards?
No, this is our gold standard.
Oh, cool.
Other people have different polishes, but this is our gold standard. And in the industry, a lot of people really love this because they don't have to overthink it. 1 polish will do everything. Now, you've never held the polisher in your hands before? No, I'm asking you a question.
No, I haven't.
No, you've never held the polisher in your hands? Well, you're about to. But you're not going to start with the DA. You're going to start with the rotary. I'm just changing the pads. Now we have the same pad on both, but that's not the machine you're going to be using. It's this one.
Okay.
So you can hang that one back up for now. So we never want to start with a dry pad. We always want to just make our pads slightly damp. The way we do that is with a pad washer. And the pad washer will do 2 or 3 quick sprays, and then at the lowest speed, go around. This cleans the pad. Then we just lift it up about 1/4 inch so it's not touching anymore, and ramp up the speed to full speed. Let it spin for a few seconds, and then while it's still spinning, one spray of the polish, and you have to act like you're angry at the trigger. So a very quick, decisive spray. And now instead of having 4 drops on the pad, we have thousands of little drops, making it so that we have polish everywhere instead of just 4 drops doing the work for us. Now we have it working for us everywhere in the pad. From there, we'll just move the cart slightly out of the way. On the tool itself, we have the trigger, we have the trigger lock, and we have the speed controller. On a rotary, the lowest speed is the speed you want to go at all times. The only exception to that is when we're drying out the pad, we'll bring it up to speed 6. The trigger, if you're holding onto it, so you're polishing and holding onto the trigger, it actually locks your wrist and locks your arm. So you want to use the trigger lock as soon as you turn it on. That way you're not straining yourself, and it's a lot easier to control the machine. Now, you're still in high school. You ever seen the janitor with that big machine on the floor, polishing the floors?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a big rotary polisher. And is the janitor holding onto it with a death grip?
No.
No,
No, he's not.
Barely holding onto it, right? Same thing with this. If you're holding onto it like with a death grip, it's going to carry you all over the place. If you're just gentle with it, it's going to easily glide across the surface. So I'll give you an example. So speed 1, lock the trigger. Now I got 1 finger here, 1 finger there. That's all I need, and I can guide it anywhere I need to. Now, if I try to be aggressive with it, it's hard to stay in one place with it. The other thing is, because it's only going in one direction, you can use that direction to help you. So if I lift up on the back of the handle, it's going to go that way. If I push down on the handle, it goes that way. Or you can go left to right as well. So if you tilt it, it goes its own way. But we want to keep it as flat as possible. So the easiest way to keep it flat is to not hold on to it. It'll stay flat by itself. There you go, sir. So cord over the shoulder because you don't want to scratch your fender.
All right. And then on, lock.
Yep. You don't want to go too wide. You want to stay about the width of your shoulders. Now the machine, you don't have to hold it in line like that. You can actually hold it like that as well. So you can put one hand here and one hand here and go left to right instead of being all bunched up. So there you go. So you're doing a 50% overlap, which is great. You just want to relax. So you want to work a section that's no wider than your shoulders, and you don't want to be walking around like you're doing. So as an example, let's grab a microfiber towel here. This is a good indication of a section you work on. So you'll do left, right, up, down, left, right in that section.
Okay.
So give that a try.
What happens if you do go wider than that?
It's not a problem. It's just harder on you. So over time, you're going to be the one that's getting tired of doing this because you're walking back and forth all the time. So do a section, finish the section, move on to the other section. So this hand, you're squeezing way too hard. Yeah, and you're putting pressure on the machine. So you just want to let the machine do its thing. You're just there to guide it.
Okay.
So the less you hold onto it, the easier it's going to be. Very good. Let's see your results so far. Now, one thing we want to do is we never want to wipe polish off with a dry towel. So I'm going to use a rinseless dampened towel. This one is dry. We have our rinseless wash in the pad washing bucket, so I'll just use that to dampen the towel. Wring out the towel of excess moisture. So we want to use a damp towel followed by a dry towel. So the damp towel, no pressure whatsoever. And the surfactants in the rinseless wash are just breaking down the polish residue. And then the dry towel to polish it up. How's that looking?
Wow, it's very shiny.
Now, look right here, right? See what it looks like with an inspection light. So here we have polished, and we go over here. That's not polished. The results you got here with our finest pad. So the one that does the least amount of work, but you still got a nice gloss out of it, got rid of most of those swirls, and we didn't remove a lot of paint, which is important in your case. We don't want to remove a lot of paint. Then from there, I'll give you to try the dual action machine. So the dual action machine, once again, I'll clean the pad. One spray of polish while it's still rotating. That way we get a nice distribution of polish on the pad. Now this one, a little different. You want to start it on the surface. Never want to lift it up while it's rotating because it can spin polish everywhere. And same thing, now this one we're going to use at speed 2. But same amount of controlling happening going on. So do the bottom end here.
Is that good?
Yep. So this machine is a 25mm orbit, meaning that going from left to right, it has 1 inch or 25mm of stroke. There's others on the market that have 3, 8, 12, 15, 21. This is actually the most aggressive one on the market right now, and it's 25mm. So what do you think of this versus the Rotary?
That one was much easier to use.
Okay.
Could control it easier.
Yep.
And it also seemed like it did a lot more faster.
Okay.
But I see what you meant when you said much more aggressive, yeah.
Yeah. Wipe it off with that. No pressure. So basically you're just getting the surface damp. Because you're actually not removing the polish with that.
Mm-hmm.
You're just breaking it down, and then you can polish on a
Looks good.
we get a little more correction there than you did up there.
Mm-hmm.
But in both cases, nice, glossy, and shiny. So now you have the rest of the hood to do.
All right.
Which machine do you want to try?
I think this one.
Okay, so let's get you...
I did have a question though.
Yeah.
Why do we keep this one at 2 and this one at 1?
The rotary works best at the slowest speed. And speed 2 correlates to about speed 1 on this one in terms of the pad movement. So it's about equal at that point, speed 2 or 3. Higher than that, you're creating heat. And heat is never a good thing. Your paint is actually essentially a plastic. And when plastic gets hot, it melts or it gets soft. And the abrasives, instead of going across the surface and cutting, they grab and they roll. They grab and they roll because the plastic is soft. So we want to mitigate heat. And because of the aggression of the machine, it gets quite hot. So, some people will try to use it at speed 4 or 5 or 6. It can work, but you have to move very quickly and you have to be very conscious of the heat you're generating.
What do they have those higher speeds for?
To me, if it were up to me, you'd only have 2 speeds, low and high. The low for working, the high for using the pad washer. That's it. But different people like using different methods. In detailing, you'll learn there's no right way of doing it. There's many good ways. There's no absolutely this is the best way of doing it. But this is the way I've taught for the last 40 years, and it's worked for me, so that's why I teach other people. The other thing that it's a much safer way. You have less chance of damaging the surface when you're at a low speed. Let's do a little experiment here to answer your question even better. So if we look here, the ambient temperature is 71 degrees. 72, somewhere in there. Now, just polish there at speed 2. Don't move the machine around. Just hold it there for a few seconds. Always start on those surfaces.
Right.
Or else you'll be wearing a line of polish on your clothes. That's good. So you got it up to 79 degrees. Not too bad. Do the same thing here, but put it on speed 4.
All right.
That's good. And now you got up to 87 degrees, 88.
It's a big jump.
Yeah, 89. So yeah, depending on where we are in the circle. So 89 degrees, so we went up 19 degrees. Here we went up 6 degrees. So the higher temperature you go up, the more damage you're doing and the more potential damage you're doing. Whereas keeping the temperature as low as you can will give you more gloss, more shine, and actually more cut. So off you go, you've got the rest of the hood to do. All right. So break it into, like this hood, break it into 6 sections. So you've got the section that you did here, the section you did there, do one there, one here, one over there, one over there.
Okay.
So you notice you're tilting the machine. You want to be a little more fluid in your movement. So this hand, instead of gripping the handle, just put one finger on either side. Easier to control. And then do left to right. And then up and down one more time. So you want to, I'll move out of the way just a second. If you go slowly, it barely puts anything up. If we go quickly, we can wet the ceiling. So we want to go quickly, but not hard, just to get a little more moisture in the pad, and 2 or 3 sprays is all you need.
Okay.
That's good. Now, put it on here with just a little bit of pressure and speed 2. Around. You see what's coming out of the pad? Awesome, Derek. Right. Now you want to just lift it up about a 1/4 inch.
Change the speed?
Yeah. Up to speed 6. And there you go. And while it's still spinning, very good. You have a nice even distribution on your pad.
Sweet.
Off you go. Back to the car. You see this? Your pad is stalling because you had it on a really high angle.
Oh, okay.
But if you can keep your pad flat, let's help you out a little bit. Hold on to it like this. 2 fingers here, 1 finger there. Because when you're holding on with your hand, your body automatically tenses here. But if you're doing this, you're not going to tense up. Don't go over here because of the clear coat failure. So a little easier to control that way.
Yep.
So you want to do about a 50% overlap. So basically lines that are 3 inches apart. Yeah, like that, perfect. And then do the same thing up and down.
Is that good or more?
That's good. Now over here, we have definite clear coat failure. What you see here is clear coat failure, so we don't want to polish on this at all. And your hood here is starting to get clear coat failure. You can see how the color is changing.
Yep.
It's going to a gold instead of orange. So we want to avoid polishing this at all possible. So now I'm going to put the rotary back in your hands, because now you've got a little more feel for the machine, and you got that 2-finger thing down. You'll see the rotary will all of a sudden become easier. I'm going to give you the rotary back, because most people think the rotary is actually easier than the dual action, but I'm going to have you hold it a little differently this time.
Okay.
So I want you to put 1 finger on either side like you were doing with the dual action machine, and just 1 up here, and you'll see it'll be a lot easier to control.
All right, I'll try it.
Because basically you're holding on a little too much before. So go up to the side when you work it. A little easier that way?
Much easier this way. It lets the machine do a lot more of the work for you.
Yeah. Basically, the less you try to control the machine, the easier it is to control.
Yeah.
Now, if you remember that janitor with the big machine, if he were to hand you that machine, you'd probably be okay now, because you know the less you try to control it, the better it is. But if he were to give that floor polisher to any other student, they'd be bouncing off the lockers all the way down the hallway till they ran out of
Yeah,
the
they would have no chance.
Yeah.
Three down. All right.
Better this time?
Much better.
Okay. Now, we have it polished, but we need protection. You don't want to leave paint just polished. In other parts of the world, polishing means a different thing. So here, polish is an abrasive, but you also polish your shoes. And people that polish their shoes, that's something to add gloss. That's a wax, basically. So a polish can be confusing sometimes, but in our case, it's an abrasive polish. It's just an abrasive. So we need protection. It's not leaving anything on the surface. So we're going to use our rinseless dampened towel to remove the excess. I'll do this, and then I'll give you the fun part, and that is ceramic gloss. So you're going to do a glancing spray or 2 of ceramic gloss on the surface after I've wiped it, and then work it in with this, and your car will be shiny and glossy and protected.
All right.
So you want to do that while the surface is still damp. So I'll just do this half, and then you can come and put the ceramic gloss on that half. So no need to put any pressure. It's just you're working it into the surface, but pressure is never your friend. If it feels like you're working, you're doing something wrong.
Okay.
So a few glancing sprays on that side. I can take the bottle from you. There you go.
Look good?
Looks good to me. How about to you?
Looks better than it's ever looked to me.
Excellent. Oh, right here, you missed a little spot. It's got a bit of overspray, so just wipe it in. Yeah, there you go. Oh, and right here. So that little triangle here, that's from wiping on this side and then wiping on the other side. So in the center, yeah.
Got it.
Perfect. On, what did you think of it?
It was not what I expected. I expected it to be a lot harder, but it was straightforward and simple.
Okay, excellent. And finally, after practicing a little more, which machine do you prefer?
I prefer the rotary at the end. It's easier to use, and it was a lot less technical.
Okay, cool. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, or ideas, leave them below. And if you want to get a hold of Owen, his tags are in the description below. And you might want to watch this video where I teach someone else how to polish paint.